Hey guys, it's Rich Davis. Welcome back to video number 4, I think it is. It's been a while, been kind of busy, which is good. And wanted to kind of catch you up with where I am on the song right now. So, past couple weekends, I've been really busy with, doing the cover shot for the DVD CD, and then we went to Vegas and did some radio stuff and some important stuff I had to go over with Dan at Crushing Notes Entertainment. So I'm back, but in the meantime I've been doing a lot of work, so I got a lot more to go too. So I just want to keep you up to what's going on. I've been tracking a bunch of guitar rhythms. A lot of the rhythms that I had in the video number 1, I ended up just moving on from them. I didn't like them that much. So I came up with a bunch of new rhythms, and so far this is just guitar rhythms and some little bit of lead work. We got a little intro lead, I got a little solo break there, and then we got the main solo that comes in here. Got the chorus all laid out, so I'm almost to the part where I can say I've got the song structurally laid out. It's a bunch of different guitar rhythms. I think all the rhythms on this song, I'm pretty sure, are all on the 8 string right here. So they sound very low and kind of bass-like, which I love. So we got some really cool breakdown parts. So far, that's just 2 guitar tracks. Each one of them are going through the ENGL head, same preset so far. So really, I can mute this, and you want to hear what it sounds like all funny? See, now I can do the whole song and be like now that's rocking right there. Listen to that. That's heavy metal, and it's best. But the reason I recorded that way is just to do a little. It's just something that I want to experiment with. Once I find a sound that I like, this is kind of a pain in the butt, and the reason being is let's set the head back on. I kind of run out a lot of power on my computer because right now I'm running 1, 2, 3, 4 ENGL heads at the same time. I'm running a delay on the one little solo thing. I got Superior Drummer running, and I got the Stephen Slate drums running. So if I added one more head, it would probably not, the plug-in, it's just too much power. So I'm almost at the point now where I'm always going to save the original guitar parts, but I will render it, or I will run through the ENGL like I'm hearing it here. And I will record that sound as one track. And if I ever wanted to go back and do some editing or change the sound, I could do that. But what I'll do is I'll run all the guitar parts, the rhythms, like really soon because I'm pretty close, so they're just the audio with the amp on them, and then I can turn all those ENGL heads off because I'm going to start, doing the bass guitar, and I'll be running whatever preamps I want to use for that, and then of course with the vocals I'm going to be running some. I'll be putting a little bit of distortion on that. So right now for the drums, for the guitars, so that's that, all basic stuff like that. And then for the drums, I'm using Superior Drummer 2, and the Stephen Slate drums. The reason I'm using the Stephen Slate drums too is because Superior Drummer 2 doesn't allow me to use my own sampled sounds, I don't think. I think Superior Drummer 3 allows you to do that, but not 2. So I have a kick drum sound that I like, that I found on the internet. You guys can just Google kick, heavy metal kick and snare and stuff like that, and people post all kinds of really top quality wave files, and then you download them, and then with the Stephen Slade drums you can put your kick and snare and toms. I'll probably use, I'm not sure with the overhead cymbals. I might just stick with the Stephen Slate cymbals. They sound a little better than the Superior Drummer 2 to me. So I'm going to use a combination of everything, but I know for sure that I'm going to use a kick and snare and the toms. But when I wasn't doing that, and that Mantra is the first song that I used the samples for the kick and snare. Other than that, I would just, what I would do is, here's my kick sound, and here's the snare sound. So for the kick, where's my kick? I was running this Sonar drums, and what I would do is when I bounced all the MIDI sounds from the Superior Drummer to for mixing down for the mixing, I would go to the mixer over here, and then when the drums are, wow, sorry neighbors. I would solo the kick, and I would record the whole song, and then sometimes what I would do is, or I actually did on all of them, and then I went to and I recorded another kick, and maybe I wanted a kick. I kind of would find one that had a lot of snap to it, some high-end snap, and then one that had a lot of low-end to it, and then I would track both those drum sounds, and then I would kind of mix them together. And I did the same thing with snare. I recorded 2 snares together, one that had a lot of snap to it and a lot of the snare sound to it, and one just had more of a bottom to it. And then I would just do the overheads, and I recorded everything as I recorded into the audio part. I recorded everything separately. That's just how I do it. It's a long process to do it, and I know it's not the proper way to do it, but that's just how I did it. So for now, let's unmute that. So here's the drum set that I'm working with, and actually it's the Metal Foundry collection, and I'm using Fredericks from Meshuggah, and I use the Bleed. But I'm changing all those sounds anyway, but that's a sound that the drum setup that I use for a lot of the other solo songs I have. Alright, so moving on how to do the drums. So here's my MIDI. Let's go to a part. So there's a couple things I want to fix. Alright, so here's what we can do. Here's a situation of something I run into all the time. When I do the drums, it's there's that drum. Let's change that symbol. something's going on there. My timing was off there. See, but each one of these, see, I know I'm kind of jumping around. So down here, these are the kicks, these are the snares. I only am using, you know, it's double bass drums that are being played, but I'm only using one kick because I'm only using one kick sound. So I've got them all. Even on the double bass stuff. Here's a little fill over here. All right, come on, Rich. What's going on? Let's show you this fill over here. So you can go nuts with this. It's, you know, you got to just hear these parts over and over and over and over. There's so much hours of work to do this. You know, you look at all these dots and stuff like that, and it's really crazy. But you got to listen to it a million times, and you also got to try to think like a drummer, which is really hard to do. But you gotta make sure that when you put like a dig-a-dig, you're not hitting a cymbal at the same time, because there's no way you could, do that at the same time. So like right now, I see that I put that over two hits. So either, that's what I was thinking before. So let's get rid of the. Either way is cool. So you and like if I didn't like my hi-hat sound, I'd just go over to here and pick a just fooling around with changing the hi-hat cymbal. So, you know, you gotta really play around with this. I'm not very good at this at all. If you listen to some of the drum stuff that I've done, a lot of the stuff could be probably impossible to play. But, you know, you just gotta try to follow. I like to follow the guitar part a lot with the kick drums and stuff like that. So, like, when I get to something like let's look at the kicks I have. So I just laid down with the hi-hat. And you see what I did was, once I did one of these complicated parts, because I tried to make it sound as complicated, and then I just did a cut and paste and repeated it. You know, because I don't think, you know, I'm not writing stuff that's got all these drum fills all over it. It'd be too complicated. I mean, I'm trying to write, I am writing stuff a little bit, you know, I'll do like at 4 measures or 3 measures, and the 4th one I'll do a drum fill, and now I threw the China Boy in there. So then once you piece it all together, then like I said, I'm going to go to the Stephen Slate drums, and I'm going to take all the kicks and all the samples, all the sounds, the MIDI, and I'm going to convert them over to the Stephen Slate drums, and that way I can trigger the kick and snare and the toms and all the cymbals with the sounds that I want. And then after I do the drums, and I'm really sure that I've listened to it, because if you listen to the drums, sometimes when I'm doing my cutting and pasting, sometimes when it repeats, the kick will be missing, or it'll do a double kick or a double snare hit. So, and sometimes I don't find that out until I'm actually doing the rendering of this snare or kick to hear a flam in there. So. Just repeating until, see, and you got to get your endings right. See that kick, right? And like maybe you want to, instead of having that open hi-hat, where is that? Sorry, I'm looking for a particular thing here. Why do I have nothing but hi-hats? Right there. That's not the symbol I'm looking for, but you know, I'm ending it with a closed hi-hat because it sounds a little tighter or whatever, so. And then you want to, like, maybe you want to start off with a crash when it comes back in, instead of just, did I do that? Okay, so I got crashes on the accents right now. And I'll mix them up to sound a little bit, you know, more on the all sides. Like, yeah, I've been doing a lot of weird stuff with the snare, or trying to, so you got to be kind of creative and make it sound like you're an actual drummer. And then that's how you do that. That's how I do the drums. So I'm getting close. I've got a long way to go yet on all that. So the next thing I'm probably going to do with the song is I'm getting ready to break out the microphone, and before I do that, I'm going to take all the guitar parts and I will write them, record them with the ENGL head on, and then I will make those channels inactive and take the ENGL head off of them just to save some power on my computer. I'll break out the vocal microphone and I will record some scratch tracks to go in all these parts. And then once I get comfortable or know kind of where the vocal line is going to go, then I'm going to break out the bass guitar, because that way I can, with the bass guitar, then the bass has the option to either follow the guitar or at times do the pulsing with the vocals. that's why I kind of like to do bass guitar after the vocals are on if I can. And then after I do the bass guitar, then of course I'm going to, I've got a bunch of layering. I'll do some extra guitar rhythms in there to make it sound big. Like you say, like I'm showing you right now, it's only 2 guitar rhythms through the whole song right now, and these are just the lead background parts. So I've got a long way to go. So I will come back to you guys in a couple weeks. I got a lot of work to do on this, but I want to thank Dan and Con from Crushing Notes Entertainment. It was really cool for having me down to Vegas. I really enjoyed it, had a great time. Planning on going down soon again in October. We got a lot of stuff planned already. So the idea for this song is in about 2 months we're going to start putting the packaging together on the DVD, CD, and then hit the streets with that, and then who knows what's going to happen from there, but just going to keep on moving. Even though the DVD is going to be done, I'm still going to be writing these songs in preparation for having the singles out every couple of months, and then also to build another collection for the next DVD, CD. So I've got some cool ideas for this song, for the video. Knowing that I have that coming up, I've got to mentally prep for it. So I've got some cool ideas. I've talked to some guys about renting. I'm going to rent a big open warehouse. I've got a lighting guy, good friend of mine, Andy, that's going to come on board with me and help me. Kind of my rough idea. This might not happen, but I'm going to build like a riser, a circle riser with poles all wrapping around it, all covered with lights. And the lights will wrap around, and I'm going to put a drum set in the middle of that, and I'll play the drums to the song, or pretend to, try. And then, I'll pull the drums out, then I'll have me with the guitar in the cage, and then me with the bass, and then me singing, and do a bunch of different shots with that, as well as some other shots that I can come up with. But so hopefully that turns out. I'm probably going to start doing the video. I mean, I have no clue what the song's going to be about yet, or anything yet, but when I do it, all is going to be coming together fast, because I know that I've got a lot to do. So I'm always prepping for shooting. I'm ready to shoot the video, and I don't even have the song written yet. So that's the way it is. So stay tuned. Maybe the next video will be me in the warehouse doing some of the video work for it. So actually, I'll come back here sooner. So anyway, so thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope you're learning anything, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks, guys. Rock on.